Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's Jacoby. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment down below. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about 10 ways to become a better setter. I used to set back in my day when I was 15. I think I ran a 6'2". I hit in the front row and I set in the back row. It was the funnest time of my life. I love setting, and I was trained as a setter before I got really tall. So I'm gonna give you all my tips and tricks to become the best setter you can be. First and foremost, step one is to be a good leader. The setter is like the quarterback of the team. They run the show, they run the offense, they touch every ball in every rally. Therefore, they need to be a good leader. And typically the setter is always the leader, the captain, They're like the coach on the floor. Usually the coach is giving signals to the setter of what to set. Typically they'll hide their signals from the other team and they're either like this, run this, and this, or run this, and this. Like, I don't know, there's different hand signals for different sets, but usually the coach will be giving the setter some hand signals and then the setter gives them to the hitter. So it's like coach, setter, hitter. Notice how the setter is always in between all communication. So that's why you need to be a good leader. So Jacoby, how can you be a good leader? Blah, blah, blah. Typically, like, a leader is just someone who's really high energy but receptive to constructive criticism. That's like the big thing, is being able to take criticism and not take it personally, and being able to, you know, spin it in your mind, like, okay, this is what he or she is saying to me, this is what I need to do. Usually coaches aren't out to hurt your feelings, usually. Also, a leader is just really outspoken, they're verbal, and I used to be very quiet. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to be like loud, like, I just don't want that attention drawn to me. But I realized as I progressed in volleyball, like, you have to be talkative, you have to be loud, and especially being a setter, because you need to be the leader. So if you're most vocal, that definitely helps you out. Step two kind of goes in with being a leader, is being the hardest worker on the team. I can honestly look back on all the teams that I've been on, and the setter on my team has always been the one who grinded the most. I don't know why that is, it's just kind of like a thing. Maybe it's just because you want to lead by example, and that can tie into being the hardest worker. Hello? This can also look like getting more reps, getting a lot of setting reps in, because setting is all about repetition. The more reps you get, the better setter you will be, because like, it's really just nailing a spot, okay? Like, you're not really setting a hitter and where they are, you're setting an area. So it's like, if the more you rep setting to that place, the more you'll hit it in different situations. So it's always good to get extra reps, whoever you are, whatever position you are, but especially if you're a setter. And it's something that you can do on your own. That's also why getting setting reps is so easy, because like, you can literally go and get a ball and just set against the wall. Those are setting reps. Next, step three is to know your hitters and know what they like to hit. This is huge. I cannot tell you how huge this is, because as a hitter and a setter, like, you have to know who you're setting, why you're setting them, and putting them in the best position to succeed or get a kill. So for example, like, typically, like, I was really good friends with my setters. Not because I was like, oh, I want to set, please set me. Like, no, I really didn't care. I mean, like, we were just friends. I was just friends with all my teammates. But when you are friends with your setter, that becomes trust. That becomes trust on the court, and it translates. Trust me. So the more connection you have, the easier the set will be. So like, my setter, for example, from last year, she would know exactly what kind of ball I would want in a certain situation. I didn't even have to tell her, because she already knew. It's like a mental connection. It's cool, and that's what coaches work on all the time during preseason usually, because like, you want your connections to be flowing before you go into your season, of course. But yeah, you always work on connections in practice usually with your setter and a hitter. So you need to be knowledgeable of the person you're setting. You need to be knowledgeable of your hitters, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, so you can put them in the best position possible. Also, one other thing that goes into that is asking for feedback from your hitters. That's like the best feedback you could get, because it's like getting feedback from the source. Like, you are setting that person and you're trying to set them up for success. If they feel like the set wasn't good, they can tell you that, and then you can be like, okay, like, I'll get you in this spot, and then maybe we'll have a different result. I don't know why that just like escaped my mind. Next, I forgot what step we're on. I think it's 4. I don't know, someone tell me. Step 4 is keep your hands high. Oh my gosh, this is so important, but this is like setting 101. Like, I got taught this when I was like, I think 12. You don't want to keep but also like, keep in mind that setters, like, as you progress, your basics start to, you know, go away, because you're, oh, I'm older, I can do whatever I want. Sure, but like, at the bare bones basics, your hands need to be here, above your head when you're setting. They don't want to be here, they want to be high. And if you are side setting, which is something you can train, still keep your hands high, because when you keep your hands high, that just helps the ball come out faster out of your hands. Also, if you keep your hands high, that kind of fakes out the block on the other side. So say I'm like already positioned like this, you know I'm gonna set behind my head. Like there's no guessing about that. Or if I'm like this, you know I'm gonna set way outside. So if you're neutral and you can just flick, flick, flick with your fingers, with your wrist, you will be basically unreadable to the other blockers because they're kind of focusing on you to see where you're gonna set so they can cheat out there and get a good closed block. Also, if you're front row, it's really good deception if your hands are high and you're like boop and you just dump, or you go behind your head and you dump. It's just a great way to be the best threat, best setter you can be. Trust and believe that. Next, this also goes into leadership. Step 5 is just to make everyone around you better. Like that means like if your serve receive passes are sucking, you're like, okay, passers, like I need to pass right now because you need a good pass to run your offense. Like it's kind of like demanding the best out of everyone. That always works. I don't know why, it just does. And setters are always like, I need a good pass, or like I need a kill right now. Like it's just good motivation. Motivation. Okay, this kind of ties into what I just said, but you want to set from like a neutral position all the time. Like you don't want to be like, I'm gonna set here. Like you don't want to face where you're setting. You always want to stay neutral, always forward to the pen, outside, or not to the pen, parallel to the pen. And you want to be here, and you always just want to flick, 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 flick. It's never facing where you set because that's just readable for the other team, and then your your hitter will probably get blocked. It's just not a good recipe, okay? Next is to have a good relationship with your coach, because obviously you are the coach on the floor. So you and your coach kind of need to also have that like mental connection, that emotional connection, and be like, okay, like I know what you're thinking in this situation. This is what I'm thinking. And then you guys are like, oh my gosh, I was thinking the same thing, like crazy. That's why you need a good relationship. Also, it's like trust. Like the coach is trusting you to run things how he or she wants to. So that's a huge thing. Next thing is to constantly work on different sets, because you don't want to become predictable. Like your team offense, you don't want to become predictable. Like if you only run a high outside ball, you only run a one quick in the middle, and you only run a really high ball to the pin behind you, like to your right side hitter, it's gonna be predictable. So you need to start working on different sets, like a slide, a 31, a back one, a 32, like anything that can just mix up the offense to make you less predictable. That's literally how you win volleyball games, is just being unpredictable. Next important thing is to work on your foot speed. So setters typically have to be very quick because you have to play defense, or if you're not playing defense, immediately as you know the ball is not coming to you have to get to the net and be ready to set a ball and already know who you're gonna set. So it's really important to be thinking on your feet and to be actually quick on your feet, because you have to be go, go, go all the time. And especially when you're a setter, like the ball is not always gonna be perfect. It's not gonna always like come right to your hands, like yes. Like no, like you're typically gonna have to run after a ball, scoop a ball, or you're gonna have to run after it and get your hands on it. It's just important to be pretty agile, pretty quick. Lastly, it's just to play as much as you can, and this can go for like any position, to be honest, but you just want to be able to say that you can play right side, you can hit, you can set, you can pass, you can play defense. Like you just want to be well-rounded, especially when you're a setter, because when you're a setter, you use all skills, literally. So it's really important to be well-rounded, and how you get well-rounded, you just play a lot, you get a lot of repetition, and it will come naturally. But okay guys, that's it for this video. I really hope you liked it. If you did, let me know in the comments. Like this video, follow me on TikTok at jacoby.sims, and subscribe to my vlog channel, Jacoby Sims Vlogs, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.